This conference will now be recorded.
All right, guys, let's get started. You all can hear me, right?
Yes, Achay, yeah.
Yes. So in the last session, we covered majorly on the types of planning, right? The different types of planning products. We have EPM, non-EPM products. The different types of planning we have, like financial planning, supply chain, workforce, what areas we do the plan especially. And also, I quickly covered, right? Like, so EPM based planning happens in SAC, non-EPM supply chain planning happens in IBP, right? And then I also spoken in detail about collaborative planning, how different plannings integrate with financial plan. Financial plan is a central component of an organizational planning. Okay. So where every planning component has to integrate with financial plan at some point of time. So as part of financial planning, I clearly mentioned it, the entire planning happens in SAC. We extract the data from S4HANA to SAC, do all the planning here, and export the data back to S4HANA for consolidation. That is done through group reporting. Mm. So this is what I covered in the last session. So now, if I speak about the traditional planning applications, what we have in SAP and how we are transforming into the new age. So guys, if I speak about the traditional planning applications, so we got like APO for demand planning, we got BWIP for integrated planning, it's kind of a supply chain plan. Okay, and then we got BPC for financial planning and consolidations. So we got three products for planning, and our entire actuals get stored in ECC, right? So we store our entire actuals in ECC planning systems. We have like APO, IP, and BPC. And then for planning reporting, guys, for planning reporting, we used to have a self-service reporting solution in form of analysis for office. Analysis for office, AO, I think most of you know this product, right? Okay. Analysis for office is a kind of an Excel based reporting solution and Microsoft Excel kind of reporting uh, within SAP. Okay. And majorly used by the planners to see, guys, generally what happens. I'll give a simple example. So in planning projects, okay, so in business intelligence, we speak with the end user, get the requirements, and we develop end to end models, reports, everything. But when it comes to planning, so now the technical, see 50% of the activity is done by the technical consultant and 50% of the work is done by the planners. Okay. You guys, you are technical consultant, you cannot do end-to-end planning of an organization, right? How much forecast should I set for a product for the next financial year? I cannot do it because I'm a technical consultant. A BPC consultant cannot do it, or an SAC consultant cannot do it. So especially in planning projects, you see both technical consultant and planning team work in tandem. Okay, they both work in sync and get the entire plan ready. So in earlier, guys, in BPC kind of things, 70% of the work is done by the planning team only. Okay, so BPC consultants, they just give the technical support to the plan data. That's it. Okay, but now things were changed. Lot of activities are now done by the SAC consultants, especially in planning projects. Um, okay. So generally what happens first, so in planning projects, it's not like BI, guys. In business intelligence projects, end user will not log into the system, or business user has got nothing to do. He just gives the requirement, that's it. After that, it is the developer who takes care of each and every aspect, right? But when it comes to the planning, okay, so it's both the teams, guys. The planning team and the technical team both work in parallel. They both work in parallel. They both work in sync. Okay, some components are built by the technical team and some handled by the planning team. The planners who know in and out of the organization, planning Planning team means, guys, they are kind of a business users or a functional users who have a complete understanding on the organization. Okay, how different bodies function, how different department functions, how different regions work. They have a complete understanding. So based on their understanding, they start doing the plan. Okay, they plan the system, they plan the values. Okay, so here, guys, in earlier days, the technical consultants BPC work. So I very honestly say, guys, BPC consultant really don't know how a real plan happens. They know how to consolidate the planning models run, but they really don't know how the real planning happens. Because, okay, the entire data modeling, everything is built in BPC. But where the planner works, planner always comes to the reporting tool like analysis for office and set all and do all the data distribution at the reporting tool only. They do all the data distribution at the reporting tool. Okay. This analysis for office has a write back functionality. So where whatever the user, for suppose, guys, so we built a model where the forecast for a particular product is set as 1 million. The planner thinks the product is going through some rough phase in different regions. It cannot achieve, we cannot achieve a sales target of 1 million on the product. They revised it to around 800K. Okay. They revised it to 800K. Okay. So what happens? The revision happens in the reporting. Who will do the number revisions? It is always the planner who does the number revisions. So they always do it in analysis for office, AO. Okay. And then, so once they submit, once they click on submit or save it, so that data will be written back to the planning model in the BPC system. So that data will be always written back to the data model in the BPC system. So here in planning project stage, the users can edit the values. I told you very clearly the difference between BI analytic models and planning models. In analytic model, you cannot edit the numbers, you cannot really edit the numbers because that is a proper transaction data and we cannot really edit any numbers. But whereas in planning, we have different versions of data like forecast versions, budget versions, okay, where you can really, where a planner can come and edit the numbers, change the values. In plannings projects, the users can actually write the data or update the values, whereas in business intelligence, we cannot really update any values. Okay. So also in this analysis for office has the write by functionality, guys. The users, the planners will always come access the data at reporting layer and the analysis for office and make all the data changes, all the data distribution at the reporting layer, and that data will be written back to your plan model. So that is how your traditional planning work. Okay. So the entire planning model is happening BPC and analysis for office is used for planning reporting. Here the planning team works at the reporting layer, the technical team works at BPC, so they have a gap between two teams function. This is how your traditional planning work. Even if I go to the BPC, guys, there are multiple versions of BPC. Okay, like we got BPC with Microsoft version. Okay, this went obsolete. No organization is using this BPC with Microsoft. Then we have in NetWeaver versions, we got like classic NetWeaver, classic BPC NetWeaver version. Okay, which is built on BPC, which is built on Oracle database. It is majorly used for financial planning. Then we came with a concept of embedded BPC, that is BPC on BW HANA or BW4 HANA. Okay, so which is majorly used for collaborative planning, means all types of planning like finance, resource planning, etc. Okay, which makes use of the master data coming from BW system, BW info objects. Then now we also has an embedded BPC and S4HANA. So these are like embedded BPC versions and classic BPC versions that are available. But one point to be noted is the entire BPC is going away, guys. The entire BPC ecosystem is completely going away. We'll be replacing with SAC for financial planning and group reporting, S4HANA Group GR, group reporting for consolidation. So they will be replacing the entire uh, ecosystem of BPC. Mm. Even analysis for office is also going away because even that component is also inbuilt within SAC. So we have the write back functionality available in SAC. Okay. So now if I speak about the new age planning systems, guys. So now once your system move away from ECC, traditional ECC towards a new age system that is S4HANA. Okay. So SAP is moving away from its traditional planning tools into new age cloud-based planning solutions, guys. They are moving away from traditional planning into new age cloud-based planning. That is IBP for supply chain planning and SAC for PM planning, means financial plan, HR plan, marketing plan, etc. All of that planning happens in SAC only straight away. Okay. So it is moving away from all the traditional planning tools like APO, where the demand planning happens. That is now a subcomponent of IBP. BWIP is now getting replaced with IBP. Okay. And now BPC is getting replaced with SAC. Very straightforward. So all these three products were getting replaced with two cloud products. Okay, that is IBP and SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay. APO's demand planning is an inbuilt concept in both SAC and IBP. It is present in both SAC and IBP. Okay. So, it is going away from traditional products into new age cloud-based solutions, IBP and SAC. So these new age solutions are AI, ML based forecasting tools. Where, see, in traditional tools, guys, the forecasting used to be a manual activity done by the planning team, but now we make use of machine learning and use the machine learning algorithms to forecast our future numbers. So this machine learning will work on your actual data, historical data, understand the trends and patterns in your data, and based on that, it will forecast the numbers. So then the planning team will come, apply their human intelligence on the system generated forecast or the predictive forecast, and generate the final forecast numbers. So these the two big advantages of these two planning solutions are they are AI ML based forecasting tools in new age applications, a lot of new age concepts. Okay, and third, they are cloud. They're all driven through cloud, which comes at low cost. So these are the two products where we are moving towards. Okay, so IBP for supply chain planning and SAC for remaining all planning. The financial plan is major. Apart from financial planning, they do workforce planning, they do marketing planning. Everything is done in SAC. Okay, so guys, here we also moving away from traditional reporting like analysis for office because SAP Analytics Cloud. So here we build the planning model within SAC and also the planning reporting also happen in SAC. So the planner and the technical consultant both work at same place, guys. The planner and the technical consultant both work at same system. Okay, same place, and the planner make all the changes to all the data distribution in the planning reporting in SAC. And once you click on save or submit, that data will be written back to the, there is an option called publish. Once you click on publish, that data will be written back to the planning model. Okay, so you have the write back functionality here also in planning reporting, but everything happens in one single system here. Okay, so we are moving away from both BPC and analysis for office and getting everything into SAC now. Okay, we have the grid page, guys, which acts as like an AO page, right? Grid page, if you remember grid page, that is more or less similar to this analysis for office.
Satya, one question here. Like we have SAC add-on also there, right? Now, what is the functionality of that then in that case?
SCC Microsoft add-on, right? I'll cover that when I go to the reporting.
Okay.
So here you see how the planning frameworks change. So generally, From ERP systems, we import the data into BPC for planning, modeling, and the reporting and visualization of planning data happens through AO. Okay, SAP visualization tool with Microsoft Office features. But now, from different systems like S4HANA or SuccessFactors, to get the HR data, we connect with SuccessFactors, right? Sometimes IBP data, guys, as I mentioned it, we also push the supply chain data into SAC for financial planning. You remember? We also import the supply chain plan data into SAC to integrate with financial plan, right? From different systems, we import the data into SAC and build end-to-end planning, modeling, reporting, everything in SAC. Okay, guys, you see a lot of import connections in the planning projects, guys. You don't really see a live connections here. It's all about importing the data into planning systems. Okay, so as I clearly mentioned, how financial planning and consolidation happen, this I told you, right? From AC Docker table of AC Doc A. AC stands for accounting, Doc stands for document, A stands for actuals. Okay, so this is a central finance table in S4HANA system which contains all your actuals, all your transactions, all your financial transaction data is stored in this table, a single cluster table. Okay, so from this table, we actually get the data into SAC to do all the planning. Okay, we get the data into SAC, do all the planning, modeling, planning, reporting, everything. You develop an end-to-end plan in SAC, forecast, budget, all everything is done within SAP Analytics Cloud. Once your plan is ready, once your budgets or forecasts are ready for the next financial year, we export the data back to S4 HANA system. We export the data back to S4 into the AC Doc P table, which is nothing but planning table. AC accounting document, P stands for planning, A stands for actuals, P stands for planning. Okay, uh, into the AC Doc P table, the planning table, then the consolidation starts. Okay, so the group reporting where the consolidation starts. Okay, so the data will be consolidated into AC Doc Q through group reporting. I'll give a quick overview of what exactly is consolidation and how group reporting works, a basic overview. But for that, first I need to cover the planning. Is once I cover the planning, you will really understand the group reporting very easily. Okay, so without planning, you cannot really understand the consolidation part. So first, let's get started with planning. And once our planning is completed, I'll give a quick overview. An overview, that's it. I'm not going to do any group reporting in S4 HANA system, guys. That is completely out of topic. Okay, so I'll give a quick overview on the consolidation process also, once your planning is completed, right? Now you understood the old planning solutions and the new age planning applications, how the frameworks change with SAP Analytics Cloud. Clear, guys? What are the different types of planning we have, the old and new planning solutions? Any questions, anyone here?
Satya, published data means writing back only, right? You mentioned writing back to the respective model.
I'll show it up, Mahesh, you understand this. I'll do publish each and every day. So these things you really understand once I go into the system, start working on the system.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, here you see how the planning evolution with SAP Analytics Cloud. So generally, we have three layers in planning. One is the technical consultants. Okay, LOBs means line of business in the sense uh, it's kind of a planners, one way of planners. Okay, generally we call them as department people, or it's kind of a planners only who know in and out of their organization, and then the business users. So guys, once your plan is ready, who should execute your plan? It's the business users, it's your managers, right? Okay, so who will be executing that plan? That will be your managers and the operational people, right? So the plan, once the plan is ready, it will be sent across to the business users. Okay, operational users. So there are three layers. So we use all the three layers work in different ways, guys. Like we work in BPC system, the line of business means the planners work in analysis for office. And then once your plan is ready, that will be sent to the business users in form of an Excel sheet. The data is sent in form of an Excel sheets. It means no one has any coordination. So all three units work in different ways. Okay, no one has an understanding how another unit is working. Okay, at least now with embedded BPC in place. So with embedded BPC with S4HANA in place, at least the LOBs and planners, the technical team is working at one place. But with guys SAP Analytics Cloud, you see the next, which is with SAP Analytics Cloud and S4HANA. Okay, so the technical users means the technical consultants like SAP Analytics Cloud people, the planners and the business users, everyone will access to SAC. Everyone work on the same system. Okay, so we develop the planning models and we also develop the planning stories. So which way the planner comes to all the data distribution. So we will have an understanding what exactly the planner is doing. The planner will have an understanding what exactly we are doing, because we both work on the same system at the same place. And once the plan is ready, guys, it is not distributed or it is not sent via what we say Excel sheets. The business users can also come access the reports directly from SAC, how the plan is built. Everyone works on the same system, so every department and every person has an idea, okay, an end-to-end idea how the entire plan is built, how different uh, teams communicate. Okay, we have a very strong collaboration here between the teams. Okay, so everything happens in one single system, that is SAP Analytics Cloud, right? That is how the planning evaluating with SAP Analytics Cloud. The planning evolution, fine. The collaborative planning I already discussed. Okay, so guys, now let's get started with planning. Okay, now you understood, right, the different types of planning products first. Okay, the different types of planning products first thing. Okay, how different types of plans are executed. Okay, and what exactly is collaborative planning. Okay, the old planning systems and the new age planning systems. So you understood now the end-to-end of planning, right? Okay, the end-to-end of planning, now you understood. Any questions, guys, so far? Anyone? Any questions? Hello,
Yeah, no, Satya.
you all fine? Okay, so now let's get started with financial planning, guys. So I'll quickly start with financial planning, where I'll do workforce planning, marketing planning, IT planning, sales planning, everything. I'm going to integrate everything there. Okay, so let's get started with financial planning. So before I start with financial planning, guys, how many of you come from finance background? Okay, how many of you have some good understanding on finance? Okay, quickly respond, please, guys. When I ask a question, you're taking 5 minutes to respond, please. Okay, so how many of you have a real understanding on finance? Based on that, I'll cover whether to cover the basics of finance or not.
Yeah,
Satya, we
Satya, I'm
don't
from
have
Bharat.
finance. No background of finance, Satya.
No background of finance. No finance knowledge. Okay, because I see a lot of people don't have an understanding on finance. So okay, let me quickly cover you some basics. Some I'm going with very layman level, which is needed for my planning. That's it. I'll give you some layman understanding on finance. I'm not going into the details. I'm not going to dig detail into anything. I need you to understand the profit and loss statement. I'll give you that. So whatever needed for my planning, right? I'll give you that knowledge. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's go into finance. Okay. Guys. Okay, let's get into financial planning. Hey, just give me a moment, please. I'll be back in a minute. Just keep reading this. You'll understand this. Just keep reading this. I'll be back in a minute. All right, guys. So I'll give you some basic understanding on finance. Okay. So generally in financial planning, so we majorly do P&L planning, profit and loss planning. What exactly we mean by profit and loss statement, I'll cover. So if I speak about guys finance, so we always say financial accounting. Okay. So what do we mean by an accounting means in finance, every entity, every activity, every person will be assigned with an account. For everything we have an account. We call it as GL accounts. Okay. So you don't see measures in finance, guys. You really don't see measures in finance. Okay. I'll give a simple example, guys. For suppose one simple example. You company. Okay. Generally, what happens? Your company is producing some products, and for that they need a raw material. Okay. And they got some existing vendors from which they are procuring the raw materials. But due to some shortage, they are going to procure the raw material from a new vendor. Okay. First means if they're going to procure the raw material from a new vendor, first thing what they do is, okay, so they will first create an account for that vendor. Okay, so you see, right? We go to the vendor team. Vendor sometimes if we vendors, we will be saying to the vendors that it is pending with finance team. Okay, first they get all the details. Purchasing team will speak. They get all the details, quotations from the vendor. If they are okay, then it will be routed to the finance team. The finance team will speak to the vendor and create an account for them. It will be GL account. Their bank account will be attached to that GL account. GL account and bank account are not same. Their bank details will be attached to that account. Okay. So first, once that vendor account is created, then only the vendor can supply. Then only that vendor can supply raw materials to the company. Okay. Once the vendor supplies the raw material, okay, the purchase department confirms, then that bill will be sent to the finance team. Okay. And then finance team will make the payments. Okay. Using that accounts. Means first what they do is the finance team, they will create a financial document. They will do a financial document where the amount will be debited from organization account and credited to the vendor account. They will create a financial document, not a financial transaction or bank transaction. Okay, they create a financial document, okay, where they will do how much has to be debited and how much has to be credited to the vendor's account. Then that financial document will go to the automated payment plan. It will go to the payment plan within finance. APPV is what we call automated payment plan or a scheduled payment plan. And then through that payment plan, the amount will be credited to that vendor's account. Okay, right? You understand? This is so generally for everything we have an account. Okay, you getting some money through cash, guys. We'll create an account for cash. Okay, so how much we getting through cash, we'll credit that much amount to that cash account. Okay, or you paying some electricity bill, we have an account for electricity bills, how much we are paying to that electricity bill, so that much amount will be credited to that account. Even employees will have a GL account in place. Every employee will have a GL account where the bank details will be attached to the GL accounts. Okay, so for everything we have an account, guys. Okay, so for customers, for vendors, for internals, uh, paying the tax, for tax also we have a GL account. For everything we have a GL accounts in place. Guys, you want to know how much we received in cash in a particular day? You want to track what you do? You go to the GL account and see what are the credit postings happen on that account on that particular day. So the overall amount is nothing but this is this much cash we received so far. You want to see how much we paid to the vendor so far. We cannot go to the vendor and ask him, right, how much, ask his bank statement so that we can track the amount we paid, right? We cannot ask that, right? We go to that vendor's GL account and see how much has been credited to that vendor account so far, right? So generally, so all the debit we in finance, we deal through credit and debit postings on the GL account. Okay, for everything we have an account, guys. For everything we have a GL account. Don't have measures at all. Everything is run through GL account. Okay, even you getting some vendor is supplying us the labor, so for that also we create a GL account. So how much we paid to them, so that is nothing but the credit posting or a debit posting happened on that account. Okay, right? So in finance, every entity, every activity, every person will be assigned with an account. Spending something on marketing promotion, create an account for market. How much spent on different promotions, that amount will be created to that market account. Okay. Uh, you're training your employees. Okay. For training also we create an account. For training, you're giving some trainings to your employees. We create an account spent on the training. That amount will be created to that account. So if you want to overall at the end of the day, you want to sum everything, you can spend on different accounts
Satya,
we have
your voice is breaking.
happening for everyone. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Satya.
Yes, Ashkan.
I don't see any issue. Is it okay now?
It's okay
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay. So generally, I'm speaking like in finance, uh, everything will be assigned with an account. For everything, we have an account. Okay. Whether you're spending, whether you're receiving, okay, everything for sales also we have an account. Okay. How much we are selling to the customers, we're receiving amount from the customers, we have an account for that. Okay. For whether it might be expense, whether it might be income, for everything we have an account. Okay. So the total debit and the how finance happens is, okay, we have a financial transaction or financial documents where we do some debit and credit postings on the accounts. Okay, guys, how debit and credit postings happen. So you're paying salary to your employees. You're paying salary to your employees. Okay. So amount, there will be one financial transaction created or financial document created where amount will be debited from company's account. Like 1 million will be debited from company account, out of which, okay, like $50K is spent on employee one, employee two, 60K. Based on the salaries, it will be divided. So the amount will be, a transaction will be created where amounts will be created to different employee accounts. And that document or that financial transaction will go through a payment plan. Okay. Not all financial transactions goes through a payment plans. Only few goes through a payment plans. Transactions go through a payment plans. This transaction will go through a payment plan, an automated payment plan, where uh, the real transaction happens in as part of payment plan. The real transaction happens where for every GL account, if it is an employee GL account, guys, then employee's bank account will be attached to the GL account. If it is a vendor's GL account, an vendor's bank account will be attached there. If it is tax, guys, then there is no account attached. Whatever the amount we pay in tax, that will be uh, added as a credit account. Not all GL accounts will have a bank account attached. You're paying through say electricity, there is no bank account attached. Okay. So like that. So for few accounts, there is a bank account attached. For few accounts, there is no bank account attached. Right. So then if there is a bank accounts in place, then it will go through a payment plan and the real transaction happen. So generally, we finance, we do credit and post. Okay, how much we spent on marketing so far? You go to the marketing expense account and see the overall we spent on actions, the overall amount present in that marketing expense account, and how much marketing so far, on employee and how much has
Satya, it's again breaking.
Unable to hear you, Satya.
Hey, am I audible now? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
Satya.
Satya.
Now I'm.
Yes, Satya, it's
Yeah,
audible now.
sorry. There was some glitch. Okay, give me a moment. All right. So here, so as we deal everything through accounts, so we call it as financial accounting. So everything happens through accounts, the entire debit and credit
Yeah,
postings.
recording is stopped, I think.
It's happening, man. Okay. So as we deal everything to credit and debit postings, right, on the GL account, so we call it as financial accounting. That's the reason we call it as financial accounting here. Okay, everything runs through accounts here. As you don't see any measures in finance, okay, you don't see any measures, guys, like you don't see like sales, profit is a measure, sales is a measure, raw material cost is a measure, okay, labor cost is a measure, marketing expense is a measure, operating expense is a measure. Sorry, see see is an account. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Everything is an account. Operating expense is an account, market expense is an account, okay, IT expenses is an account, okay, labor cost is an account, employee expenses is an account, training cost is an account, sales is an account, profit is an account, okay, everything is an account here in finance. Mm. So for everything we have an account, so that's the reason we call it as financial accounting. You don't have any measures in finance. Okay. So guys, a financial transaction is said to be completed if overall amount in that financial document is zero. Okay, we call it as financial document or financial transaction. Okay, it is said to be completed when the overall amounts are zeros. In the overall amount of zero means the debit should match with your credit. Amount in debit account should match with amount in credit accounts. Guys, there can be multiple transactions where there might be one credit account and multiple debit accounts. Okay, but the overall amount should match. Okay, amount might be debited from 10 accounts and credited to one account, but the amount summation of 10 accounts should match with the amount credited to that account. So suppose we're paying salaries, guys. Amount is debited from one account, credited to multiple accounts. The total amount debited from that account should match with total amount credited to all the accounts. The credit amount should match with debit amount. Then only we can say the financial transaction is complete, successful. Okay, right? There might be multiple transactions where you have one debit account, multiple credits, one credit, multiple debits. Okay, multiple credits, multiple debits, but overall amount should match. Okay, so that is how your financial accounting works. Okay, how your financial transaction work. Okay, so generally, guys, in finance, we have got four types of GL accounts, four types of accounts, well, five types actually. Okay, five types of GL accounts. One is asset account, starts with AST. Okay, then we got liability and equity accounts, LEQ, liability and equity. Then we have income accounts, INC, and expense accounts, EXP, and non-finance accounts, NFIN. Okay, so these are like five types of accounts we see in finance, five types of GL accounts. Okay, you know what is an asset? Land, building, machinery. So your lands your company has, right? Your buildings the company organization has, the machinery it has, the cash equivalents, the cash amount in the cash in their banks. Okay, the cash in the accounts or the investments made by the company, they all fall into assets, guys. They all fall into assets. Okay, so generally I'll give a simple example, guys. For suppose I take Maruti Suzuki, guys. It's a cash rich company. It's a big cash rich company. Okay, so what they do is, what are the extra cash they have, they invest in the stock markets. They do invest in stock markets, or they do invest in debts. Okay, debt funds, etc., etc., and they generate some revenue from that. Even the investments are also considered as assets. The inventory, the product inventory we have is also considered as an asset. For IT companies, even employees are considered as assets. Even employees an asset. Okay, so these all fall into asset accounts, right? So liabilities means your loans. The company take loans from the banks, right? Mortgages, they raise some amount by mortgaging, or they issued some bonds which will be paid at later stage. Okay, they all fall into liabilities. Okay, the payables are the debts will fall into the liabilities. Then you got some income accounts. So they are like assets and liabilities are like these are like fixed thing, guys. Whereas income and expense accounts deals with day-to-day operations of a company. Income and expense accounts deal with day-to-day operations of a company. Like your sales generated falls into income accounts, profits, net revenues, they all fall into income account. Whereas if you see the expenses, whatever we spent on raw materials for production, that's an expense account. Operating expenses like your marketing expenses, sales expenses, IT expenses. Okay, whatever we spend on IT, whatever we spend on marketing, whatever we spend on sales. Okay, whatever we spend for bonus, paying salaries. Okay, whatever amount we spend to pay electricity bills. Okay, they all fall into expense account. Okay, they all fall into expense accounts. But suppose you're in lease, paying some lease also, that is also falls into expense account. So they are like uh, income and expenses of a company. Deals with day-to-day operations of a company, income and expense account. Then you got some non-finance accounts like number of employees, the unit sold. They are like non-finance. They're not income or expense. Okay. So guys, generally these are the five types of accounts you see in finance: asset account, liability account, income, expense, and non-finance. Any account should fall into any one of these five categories. Okay. Created some cash account, it falls into income category. Okay. You built up some new facility, that falls into asset category, right? Like that. Okay, you took some loan, it will fall into liability category. You're spending some expenses on, suppose, labor cost. You spend some expense on labor, that falls into expense category. Most of the accounts fall into expense category. 70-80% accounts are in. Okay. For an organization, income sources are organization from sales, but they spend on lot many things. Lot lot of expense account. 100 fall in.
Satya, your voice is breaking. Satya.
Okay. So guys, then you have like something, or we also call it as value, which is nothing but asset minus liability. Okay. Asset liability negated from assets will give support. Company has got 100 million assets and your company has got around 40 million liabilities. Equity value of your organization around 60 million. Okay. It is 60 million. That is your organization go bankrupt. That your organization go bankrupt. Stakeholders will,
Your voice is breaking, Satya. Continuously breaking.
guys, I don't see, my internet is good. Guys, is it fine now? Hello.
Yes, Satya. That's good.
So generally, so assets minus liability gives you the equity. If your company go bankrupt now, so become stopping operations or going bankrupt, its stakeholders will get 60. Okay. So I'll give you a simple example. So suppose company has a market cap of 100 million, have 1 million shares or stocks. Right now, this price of one stock is around $100. So what do we mean? Market capitalization is nothing but the number of stocks multiplied with price of one stake, the market capitalization. Okay. So means my company has issued for suppose 1 million. So a lot of people think, guys, if stock price is 20 rupees, company is cheap. Stock price is 500, this company is expensive. That's a wrong way of looking at the thing. So because company might have issued 1 million stakes at 20 million, that company might have issued only 10,000 stakes at 500, right? Depends on the company. So it's a lot of people think about low stock price companies. That is a wrong way of looking at the things. A blunder. It's a big blunder, I say. Some companies maybe stock price is 2,000 rupees, but they are very cheap. Okay. See, that depends on the book value and market capitalization, guys. For suppose I have 1 million, the company issued 1 million stocks. Right now, the stock price is $100, means the market capitalization of a company is 100 million. But if this company go bankrupt, if this company really go bankrupt, how much they receive? They don't receive $100, guys. So first, they'll sell off all the assets worth 100 million. First, because the stakeholders are considered as owners of the company, they will be always paid at the last. Owners are always paid at the end, right? So first they'll clear off the liabilities of 40 million. So remaining 60 million distribute among stakeholders. So 60 million left. How many stakes left? 1 million. So 60 million divided by 1. So for every stake worth at $100, if the company go bankrupt, you will do only $60. Okay, that is the book value of a company. Okay. So if this ratio is on higher side, the company is expensive. The ratio is on lower side, company is okay. Market capitalization to book value, price to what we call. Okay. Here it is 1.4. This is, for suppose if the stock price is around $500, market capitalization 500 million. Okay. But the company go bankrupt, still they get $60 only. For $500 stock, they get $60 only. Price to book is around 9 times. Very, very expensive. Okay. Price to book, price to earn, to understand the company's functional. Okay. Some understand how asset. Okay. Any, in finance, happens like we call it as financial accounting. Okay. Uh, so as everything happens like accounts, we call it as financial. The transaction is completed if debit amount matches with your credit amount. And these are the 5 types of accounts you see in finance. Okay. So generally, finance, we got 3 major statements, guys. We got 3 major statements in finance. We call it as finance profit and loss statement, or some people call it as income statement. Okay, that's first major thing. Okay, this income statement contain only income and expense accounts, income, expense, non-finance accounts, only these 3 types of accounts. Because these P&L statement day-to-day operations of a company. How our company current quarter, how our company performed in current quarter, etc. So this finance profit and loss statement, or how, so this profit and loss statement gives you how much profit we made, how much sales we generated, how much we spent on raw material, how much we spent on operating expenses, etc., etc., how much tax we paid, and what's the overall profit in the current quarter, or in the month. Okay, or in any year, like that. So generally this deals with operational metrics of a company. So profit and loss statement or income statement, the operational metrics. Okay, so guys, we don't include assets and liabilities in day-to-day operations, right? So we see in P&L statement or income statement, we see only income and expense accounts. What we are receiving, what we are spending, what's our overall profits. Okay, we always see income and expense accounts in profit and loss statement or income statement. Whereas balance sheet gives you, guys, balance sheet along with income statement, it also gives you assets and liability. It gives you assets, liabilities, and also how much we generated as a cash, as a profit, and how that profit is transformed into an asset. Okay, how the profits generated are turned into the assets. Okay, so your balance sheet contains an income statement plus assets and liabilities. So this balance sheet will contain all the 5 types of accounts, guys, like asset, liability, income, expense, and non-fin I can ignore. Can asset, income, and expense accounts. Okay, that is one more thing you have in balance sheet. Balance sheet gives you, so what is your assets at the end of the previous quarter, and what is your assets or your book value at the end of current quarter. Then we have cash flow statements, guys. Cash flow statements in the sense like we cash generated from operating activities, investment activities, and financing activities. So what was the cash at the end of each and every quarter? How much we generated? I'll give a simple example, guys. So what's the difference between cash flow and income statement is, for suppose your company is a B2B company. Okay. So once you sell the product to the customer, so guys, if it is B2C, the customer will pay immediately. In case of B2B companies, we sell the product to the customer. Okay, our customer is also another company. They will not pay immediately, guys. They'll pay after some times. So suppose your company sold something to the government. Government will always delay, right, in payment in making. Okay. So once your product is sold, it will be reflected in profit and loss statement. It will be reflected as a sale in the profit and loss statement. But whereas in the cash flow statement, it will not be seen, because until you don't receive the cash, you don't receive the amount, it will not be seen in the cash flow. The cash flow gives you how much we actually received, how much we actually spent in that current quarter. But whereas in P&L statement, once the sale is completed, it will be reflected in P&L statement, but it will not be seen in cash flow till you receive the cash. Okay, how much days, what is your cash conversion cycles, how much days you're taking to receive the amounts. So that all you see in cash flow operations. Cash flow from investment activities means if you make any investments in any companies, how much amounts we generating from that investments. So that you see in cash flow from investment activities. Cash flow from financing activities, you see how much dividends the companies will pay the dividends, right? The profits will be paid as dividends to the stakeholders, right? How much dividends we are paying, they all seen in the cash flow from financing activities, right? These are the three major statements you see in three major finance statements you see in any organization. Okay, so guys, any public listed company, public listed in the company in the sense any company having public stakeholding. Okay, so two types of companies, guys: private, public listed in the sense they are listed in the stock exchanges, they are listed on stock exchange, and they have a public participation in the stakes. Okay, if it is private, means it's completely a proprietary based company, only the owner owns the company full, and they are not listed on stock exchange. But whereas if the company goes public, okay, they sell the stock to the publics. Okay, so then it's a public listed company. Maximum companies are public listed only. Okay, any public listed company should release the profit and loss statement each and every quarter. Guys, every quarter, if you see, guys, if every quarter the company releases the earnings, right? The company releases the earnings. What exactly they release each and every quarter? They release their profit and loss statement. Any organization, any public listed company should release their profit and loss statement in every quarter. The earnings statement is nothing but P&L statement or income statement. Earnings means nothing but P&L statement. Okay, so P&L statement deals with all income and even the company releases the balance sheet also, balance sheet and cash flow statement also. So these three statements are public for all company pub, published has pub, and these are available in find 838. Okay, I'll do one thing. Maybe I stop. I'll continue with these three statements. I'll show the statement uh, in the next session. I'll clearly show how the profit and loss statement looks, how balance sheet looks, how cash flow statement looks clearly, and I'll cover the subdomains. And we'll start with finance, profit and loss plan. Guys, maximum financial planning happens in income statement only, guys. In finance, planning means income statement planning only. Okay, I'll clearly show how an income statement look, what accounts you see in income statement. I'll clearly discuss about this, and then we'll start with P&L planning in the next session. Okay, I stop here, guys, for today.